Today's workout is a 15-minute full body toning workout with a resistance band. You can use a loop style band, but you will need a band like this with or without the handles for the upper body portion. We're gonna start with the lower body and get right to work. So take your band, you're gonna spread it out, wrap it around the tops of your legs above those knees, bring the handles to the front. You're gonna place the left handle in the right and then the right handle into the left. So you got a nice secure band. We're gonna start with a deadlift. So feet about hip width apart, hands across your chest. We're gonna push those hips back and then stand all the way up. So you can see my butt's going to the back. My weight's back in those heels, chest is lifted, abs are braced. You can also extend your arms and reach to the floor if you'd rather do that, but we're aiming for a flat back here. And then that tension on the band is gonna put more of that burn in the glutes, the hamstrings, and the back of the body. So that's what we're trying to create when we use that resistance band. And rest. All right, we're gonna get to work on our squat. So feet come a little bit wider now. Outside hips, hands in front of your chest. We're gonna drop the hips back and down and then come back to the top. Hips finish right under those shoulders, the weight's in your heels, and then that resistance band again is gonna put pressure on those legs. So we want to keep the knees pressing in line with the middle toes throughout the movement. We don't want the knees to start to collapse inward. If they do, you can just take the resistance band off for this one. And there's no counting reps. As you can see, we're going 50 seconds, resting for 10. So just get as many as you can, but we wanna focus on that form. So make sure you're dropping your butt back and down. You can see those toes when you're coming to the bottom. And then that weight's in your heels. Your hips are going almost to knee level. Good work, guys. All right, we're moving on to a monster walk. So it's a squat and we're gonna walk right and left. So let's start at the edge of our mat. Feet can be closer together, hands in front, squat down, and we're gonna step to this side. I like to go about the length of the mat. So that might be 3 or 4 steps depending on how wide you're going. Now you can see as I step out, I'm pushing through the outside edge of my hip to get that glute working. That means my hip, knee, ankle are all in alignment. So you're never gonna turn your hips. You want them facing forward, toes forward, butt back. And if you can, start to work it a little bit lower here. If it's too intense, again, if your knees are knocking, you can take that band off. And we'll rest. All right, we're going to a lateral leg raise. So feet about hip width apart here. Hands on your hips. We're gonna start with that right leg. So left knee a little bit bent, extend that right leg to the side. So just like in those monster walks, we're pushing through the outer hip, keeping this leg straight, foot flexed, lifting the leg as high as we can without leaning to the side. So we want that chest in between the feet. If you start to kind of lean like this, just don't kick the leg as high, because that's not really going higher, it's just leaning to try to get that leg up, right? So we wanna keep everything square so that side glute is doing the work here. And that standing leg is a little bit bent. We don't wanna lock out that knee. Abs are braced, shoulders back and down, chest is lifted, so we've got good posture. Switching legs, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So it's a little bit funky having the band like this. If you wanna use those loop bands, that's great too, but it works. Other side. This side might be a little more challenging because we've already fatigued that hip. So again, just bending that standing leg, pushing through the outer hip, keeping this leg nice and straight, toes straight ahead. And again, it's not about how many you can do, it's about the quality of the movement. So if you need to slow it down, you can feel free to do that anytime. It's another balance challenge too with this one. So Anything where you're balancing on one leg is really good for strengthening your core. Just a couple more here. We're gonna move on to a standing kickback. I'm gonna show you this one from this side. So feet are about hip width apart. We're gonna lean into that front leg, take the right leg back. We're just gonna lift it up and down off the floor. So this one, you're positioning your body slightly forward, and that allows you to get that extension through your hip. So really, we're just lifting the heel up and down, and it's a small movement here. Again, it's not about how high you can go. It's about creating that tension by perfecting our posture. So you can see, I'm leaning into my front leg. All my weight is here, so I don't even need to touch this back leg on the floor. I can keep it off the ground. It's kind of like you're looking over a cliff. Chest is up, shoulders back. You don't want to fall over, but you're leaning forward. Anchoring through that front heel. It helps if you look about 6 feet in front and find like a little place to fix your gaze on. All right, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. And again, feet about hip width apart, and then you step back. That's gonna create that tension in those side glutes with the band. Tipping forward, let's do the other side. So again, you can tap the foot between, or if you want to, don't even touch the foot. Create a little bit of a stability challenge. And again, those stability challenges are really good for your glutes, for your abs. You might find one side feels a little bit shakier than the other. That's totally normal and good. We're evening out. Everybody has a stronger and a weaker side. So we're evening things out here. And again, it doesn't have to be a big lift. We want to keep it lower, keep that work in the glutes. If you kick too high, you're going to take it into the low back. But with that band, that kind of prevents you from doing that. All right, we're moving on to our upper body portion. So undo that band. We're gonna take it. Both feet are gonna step onto it. We're going for some bicep curls. So join me here when you're ready. So we're just taking those handles to the shoulders. And if you have that loop band for the leg work, you're gonna wanna switch it to a band like this. You don't have to have the handles. You can just grab the ends of a straight band like this and pull them. That works just fine, but the handles do make it a little bit easier. And I'm using a light to medium resistance band. You could always go heavier for some of these exercises, or you could go lighter if you need to. But I feel like a light to medium one works well for the majority of this. So that's what we're doing today. 50 seconds of work, even easy moves like a bicep curl makes a difference, gets that heart rate up, right? Time. Okay, we're gonna stay with the band like this. This time, I'm gonna show you from this side. Feet under hips, we're gonna pull those elbows up and then extend straight back. Bring those elbows or those fists back in, extend. So it's a tricep kickback. So you're keeping your elbows nice and high. Your eye gaze is about 6 feet ahead. You've got a flat back, abs tight, weight in your heels. Then I'm trying to squeeze the back of my arm, push my knuckles up high to the ceiling. And that's gonna get those triceps working. You can keep your pinkies to the ceiling like this, or you can keep your fists down. Really whatever's more comfortable for you with the band. We're really getting into that toning work with the arms now. This one is not easy. So rest anytime if you need to. All right, we're moving on to a wide row. This time we're gonna add a little more intensity, and this is a good thing to do. If you ever need more tension on the band, cross it over. We're gonna take that handles to the knees, pull those elbows high and wide. Bring those elbows to the back corners, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And just like that tricep kickback, we're keeping the weight in the heels, tipping forward from the hip, but chest is still lifted, abs are braced. And we're really trying to pull that band apart. See how wide I'm going with the handles even? So we're creating that work in the back of the body. And also being in this hinged position, tipping forward works the core, gets more of that work into the back. Good work, guys. We're gonna keep the handles crossed like this. We're gonna come back to that hinge position for a reverse fly. So this time, handles to the knees, palms face in. We're gonna bring those arms straight out. So elbows are soft and we're bringing those handles up about shoulder level. This is where you're gonna want a light resistance band. This one is difficult. I want you to try your best to keep your body still. And if you can't quite get your arms to shoulder level, don't worry about it. Just get them as high as you can, but the goal is straight arms with a slight bend in the elbow. And that's really gonna get into those rear delts, the back of the shoulders. And again, the whole back body is working here. Again, feel free to do less. You don't have to do as many as I'm doing. You don't have to go as fast as I'm going. Good work, you guys. All right, we're gonna take that band out from under the feet. Now I want you to put as much tension on the band as you want, so you can wrap it around your wrists. We're gonna pull it apart to the collarbones. So just stretching that band here, bringing it in. So you can start this like this with the handles wrapped. You can always grab a little more, make it harder, or you can take a little less, make it easier. It's whatever you feel like doing, but I'll show you from the side. You wanna pull those handles out. Pull the band to your collarbones, and you see how I'm keeping my hips under my shoulders? I'm not arching my back. I'm bringing that band past my collarbones and squeezing my shoulder blades together rather than doing this. That's not actually creating what we want it to create. We want that work in the upper back, not the lower back. Keeping that core tight, knees soft. All right, time, we're gonna do that same movement, but this time we're gonna pull it back and pulse it. So grab as much as you want. This one's gonna be a little bit more intense. Feet under hips, knees soft, abs tight. Here we go. Pull and pulse. So you can see it's just a small movement, about collarbone level again. From this side, no arch in the low back. And just a little release. We're not coming all the way forward. We're not releasing that tension. So we're creating more work in the back body. Woo, starting to heat up now. We're almost there. Nice. Okay, we're gonna step back on that band. Both feet go on it, under the hips, feet hip width apart. We're gonna do a front raise. So handles come straight front, palms face down. So you can see my handles are going to about shoulder level, and I'm not shrugging my shoulders. I'm lifting with my arms extended, elbows soft. My abs are tight, my lower body is still. So again, we're not leaning back, we're not using momentum to get the weights up. No, it's strength from the front of those shoulders. If you can't get your handles to shoulder height, just do it again as high as you can without trying to use your body to create momentum. We're getting close to the end. These are getting harder. We're almost there. We have one more exercise after this. Good work, guys. All right, coming on our last one, we're doing an overhead press. So for this one, we're taking those handles to the shoulders. Palms face forward, knuckles to the back, brace those abs, knees soft. We're gonna press overhead and then bring those handles back down, elbows in. So we're trying to push overhead, extending those arms. And again, if you can't quite do this one, just work your way up to it. It is more difficult. You can always go slower and do fewer, or go with a lighter band. A lot of these moves would still work with dumbbells, but the resistance band provides a different resistance. So it's working those muscles in a different way. That tension stays on all the way through the movement, even at the top. We're almost to the finish, hang on. That's it, we made it. 15 minutes, resistance band toning work. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, let me know what you think in the comments.